Hi, thanks so much for joining me. So it's been interesting. I just got a email from someone. It's a client of mine that I've been working with for on Pinterest with for a while, but we are thinking about starting into Instagram now as well. So I just wanted to share with you what the question was, and I thought it was going to be a great video to do. If you don't know me, my name is Caroline Balinska. Happy New Year. It's great to have you here. So I specialize in helping e-commerce stores online. So it's really about, for me, the conversion. We can get lots of traffic, but it's all about getting the right traffic, the right types of people, and the people that actually want to buy from you. It's much more important than the actual numbers of the traffic. So in this Facebook Live today, I wanted to talk about Instagram in this particular question. And the question came down to this client of mine sells baby products online, and they've got their own Shopify store. They're an FBA seller, they've got a Shopify store, and now we've gone into Pinterest for them, and now we're going into Instagram. So I always say to either do one thing really, really well, or get other people to help you, but don't try to tackle everything at once. So with this particular client, we decided to do Pinterest because they'd already started there. So we built that up, and now we're going into Instagram. So the question today from this particular client was asking me about influencers. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and help you understand what it is. And a lot of people are really scared of this. They think that when we talk about influencers, they think that they have to be a big brand like Chanel or Gucci before they can actually get some of these people to promote them. But then the other thing is that I've also got another client. Well, I've had some people say this, but one particular client of mine, she told me that she got influencers to help her in her brand. She sells jewelry, and she had influencers helping her. And what they were doing was that they were taking the money and never actually doing anything and running off with the money. So that can be an issue as well. Some people say, well, if I get someone to help me on Instagram and be an influencer, how do I know that they're going to do what I need them to do? And that's fair enough. I totally understand why that could be a problem. And in the case of this particular client, I don't hear it very often. I guess I don't want to talk too much about who she is or her personal story, but maybe it's got to do with the country that she's actually from, that she was trying to get help from. She even said that it is a bit of an issue in her country. It's a small country, and I guess that there's a very, very small amount of people doing that sort of thing, influencing on Instagram. So that became an issue for her. So I totally understand. But generally speaking, I know a lot personally of great Instagram influencers, and they do a really good job. They're genuine. They're not going to rip you off. So I don't think that is going to be a huge concern. So if that's something that's a concern for you, keep listening, because I think you'll be really impressed with the fact that there are things that you can do to protect yourself and make sure that you're getting the best people to help you build your brand. Let me just put this over on into my group. If you're not part of the group yet, please join it. It's e-commerce backstage pass. Sorry, just go to Facebook and type that in and you'll find it. So let me just share this. And share into a group. If you've got questions, please ask away. I'm happy to answer any questions. Live talking Instagram. Okay, that's over there in that group. So yeah, like I said, if you've got questions, please ask away. I want to talk about influencers. It's really important that you understand that there are people out there that are willing to help anyone at any level. So this is another question I have from people all the time. Well, hang on, I've just started my brand. Who's going to want to support me? So there are people out there. There's different levels of people, and it comes down to how much you want to spend. So if you're not willing to spend anything, then you need to understand that you're going to go for a lower level influencer, someone with less followers. Because if you had built that bigger following and you had done all the work to build all those followings, you wouldn't do it for free either. So you've got to understand that. Another thing is that a friend of mine, Alex, she's a great influencer if you need anything to do with fashion, travel. Well, it's actually travel and fashion together. Then she has got a huge following. She does really well. She's done a video for me. And the thing is with her, what she said is that she travels so much, and her whole brand is about living out of a suitcase. and a carry-on suitcase at that, actually, not even a full-size suitcase. And so because she lives like that, the last thing she wants from people is actual gifts and try things out, because for her, chances are she's not going to need it. So one thing she says is, don't send me things because I'm probably not going to use it. And one thing that I hear from a lot of people, and this is what I always say, is that let's say you've got a range of clothing, as an example, and what some people tend to do, business owners tend to do, is they tend to get one of those items and send it to a blogger, an influencer, and expect them to be happy with that. And that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because if you're just sending them one thing and you're talking about one blogger, that's their personal journal, that's their personal story, that's everything about them, that's what they believe in, what they like, what they don't like. So by you saying out of your whole range, I'm going to send this person this one thing, you're probably going to lose them on that as well anyway. So I can give you an example. Years and years ago, before the internet was a big thing, when I had my first shoe range and online selling was not a thing like it is now, I did a huge PR campaign, and I sent out pairs of shoes to a whole lot of magazines in Australia, and I sent them out to all the fashion magazines, all the women's magazines. And what I did was, yes, I did send them one pair of shoes, but the difference was that I was sending them to a company, and the fashion team are not there to make a complete biased decision. Of course, they're going to look at what's in fashion, they're going to look at, what they like, but generally speaking, they're going to talk on a much broader scale. So me sending them one pair of shoes and them having those one pair of shoes is one thing, but if I was to send it to a blogger, I would never ever do that. I would always ask the blogger first, or the influencer, what out of my range do you like? So building that relationship first is really important. Or another way to look at it is put one pair of shoes out there, and there's platforms, and if you watch my training, you'll see that there's a lot of information out there, and in my video training, I do talk about it more. If you want to give away one particular item, for instance, let's say that's an item that's just brand new and that's the one that you want to promote, then what you want to do is take that item and take it to a platform where influencers already are and say, this is the item, who likes that item? Because otherwise you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be sending out one item to all these bloggers, and a majority of them might not like the style, might not need that item at the moment, might not be thinking along those lines at the moment. All of those things come into play. So if there's one item that you particularly want to promote, then I suggest going to a platform, an influencer's platform. But if there's certain influencers that you want to work with, then you'd go to them and say, what do you want from my range, if you've got more than one thing? So that's the first thing I think about. Now, once you understand that, then it comes down to, how do you find the actual people? So you know about which product you're going to promote or how you're going to promote it. How do you find the people? So in this video, in the link, go to that link, and I've got a free course download. It's over 14 days, bite-sizes pieces of information each day. And on day 4, I believe, day 4, I go into more details about influencers. And I talk about certain platforms there, different platforms you can use, how you can go about it. But pretty much what you need to think about as a big picture is, if you want to use particular influencers, you need to think about, how much are they going to charge me? How much is their time worth? How much is it worth of what they've built up of their own business? Now, you can look at this and think, well, they're going to rip me off. Or you can look at this and say, well, they've got 10,000 people, and generally speaking, every one of their photos gets 100 comments, 200 comments. That means that I have the potential of getting in front of that many people, and I'm able to get interaction. Now, one thing you have to understand is, you having an influencer promote your product is very, very different from doing a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or a Pinterest ad or Google ad. It's very different. What you're saying now is that this influencer is saying, I love this product. So me sitting here and saying, I love this glass, I love drinking out of this glass, it's so comfortable to hold, it's easy to clean, it holds the right amount of liquid that I want it to hold, is very different, me telling you how great it is, than the actual brand saying, oh, buy this glass. So your ad is one thing, or getting an influencer is something else. So you've got to understand that getting the right influencer, the type of influencer that has the right audience for you, is a much higher value than what your Facebook ad will be. I had some statistics the other day, actually. I'll just see if I can find them. It was for another video in that course, actually. You'll see more of it in there. Yeah, I might have to. I think it was on day 9 I spoke about these statistics, but one of them was that the Gen Y, that they are finding that the statistics are showing that 50% of that generation are more likely to purchase if it is found through a friend or a family member online rather than seeing an ad. So that's pretty serious statistics that you've got to think that that's really, it's influencing them. Whether they hear that from your ad or whether they hear it from someone else is going to make a huge difference. So finding influencers, Instagram influencers or any influencers to promote your product is always going to be a better idea than doing your own ads. So start off small. If you're just starting out, maybe you're in a situation where no one knows your brand. So maybe you have to either go to you either have to go to a really small influencer who has a small market and just start baby steps. And it's all about the snowball effect. You do it with that influencer, you do it with another. Then you can start going to bigger ones and saying, hey, here's the proof. This influencer had 100 followers and they managed to get me 2 sales. So you've got 1,000, so you can get me 20 sales. This is what it's worth to you. And then you've got to understand that as you do that, you can grow your business in a very organic way. Or another option is just biting the bullet and saying, I'm going to pay this influencer 10,000, 15,000, whatever amount of money it is that they want. So I know you're probably going, what, $15,000? There are some influencers that want $30,000 for one post. Okay, some of them are going to ask you for 100, but just be ready that some of these people do want a lot more. In saying that, you could do an ad. I saw a great interview with the guys from Mezzi and Main, and they were saying that they did an ad in a GQ magazine and they paid from memory $50,000 for the ad and they got no sales. And then they did an ad with Tim Ferriss on the 4-Hour Workweek, cost them about the same amount of money and they made hundreds of sales. So understanding your influencer and the market that that influencer has is very, very important. So don't see it as a huge amount of money that you're losing. Look at it as an investment. So think about the influencers that could be helping you. If you want to know more, go and join the free program. I've got a free Instagram program. Like I said, lesson 4, I'll talk about influencers, but watch it through from lesson 1. Bite-sized pieces of information each day to help you build an Instagram account that is going to kick butt. It's going to make you money. I'm all about my whole strategy at the moment for the start of this year is let's make $2,017 a week from your Instagram, just from Instagram sales into your business in 2017. So use my strategies, go and get the right influencers, get everything else right in your Instagram account. And you could be making $8,000 just from Instagram sales. If you're making nothing, then that's great. You can then take these strategies, take them to the next level, be making $10,000 a week, $20,000 a week. There's no reason why you can't grow my strategies into more. I just want to show you that it is possible if you're doing the right thing. So get the right influencers. It's going to help you in your e-commerce store. If you want to know more about anything that I've been talking about, either join that free course or come into the free Facebook group, E-commerce Backstage Pass. I'd love to have you in there. You can ask me questions. Great to have you here and have a wonderful day and Happy New Year again. Bye.